the Polyglot Gathering is brought to you by italki. Become fluent in any language.
The lightning talks. For those who don't know, it's 5 minutes per topic, so there isn't really time for questions, and although it's not forbidden, the goal is not to use presentation aids. So, first up we have Georg, and can Alexandra, if you're around, make yourself known please? Alexandra here yet? Okay, fine. You'll be second up. Georg is number 1, please.
Hello. My name is Georg. Who of you does not speak this language, Esperanto? Who does not speak it? Great. Of those people, who does want to learn it? Okay. Want to or wants to get better even at it? Yeah. Okay. And additional, who of those people is a software developer? Nobody. Ah, okay, even one. Okay. Well, then please, all these people, go to, just right now, because I shouldn't use the slides, can you go on this website, learn, with your smartphones? learn.esperanto.com.
Yeah, there was right now.
No, it's not. And what? I'm sorry? Oh, I forgot. Yeah, of course, it has Esperanto, right? This is a website I created, and it's an Esperanto course, and it's based on a Zagreb method, which is it's a course made in the 1980s by a guy who just thought like, well, let's have some more usable Esperanto. Let's start learning really the most useful things. So it's based on the 500 most used words. It's based on dialogues, and I just created a web version of it. And so using that course, you can, during 12 lessons, you will learn all the basic things, and after that you can really express yourself, and I think you get out of most of it in a really short time, so it's really effective to learn on that site. And yeah, my story about was this: I just found this course 15 years ago, even only in German. And now last year I discovered the same course, like the same Esperanto text in English, and I thought, okay, so apparently it's translated to many languages, and I found out, yes, it's already translated into 20 languages, and so I thought, well, let's have a proper web version on it, because we know there's Duolingo, it's a nice course, but it's only in English, and because Duolingo has such a great tree to translate, it means that if they add up more languages, it really will take some time until there will be Chinese or Portuguese or German even. And right now on Learn Esperanto we have right now 6 languages even, because it's English, German, Spanish, French, Malay, and now even Chinese get ready. It's just a test phase, but it's already there. And the reason it's so fast because we can the content is so short, and it's all translatable using really simple text files. You just go. There's a link below. It's all managed on GitHub, which is a software development tool, where you can easily translate into new languages. So, another question: who of you speaks Esperanto? Okay. Who has experience with GitHub? Even better. Okay. So, if you want to contribute, if you want to help, it's all under a free license, Creative Commons. It's quickly translatable. You can just go online. I can add you to the team. You just edit simple text files, and you can create a version of your own language. So there's all of European languages basically. No, many of the Europeans are still missing, like Polish or Russian or so. And by translating it, you could even learn Esperanto. So you could kind of do something useful and get something out of you, out of the translation. And yeah, what I can also use is some designers. So if you see the website on your phone, it's really still a raw, mobile, optimized design. Could look a bit better. So if you're into that and could help, I'd also appreciate that. Yeah, so that's the other thing I wanted to say. Thank you.
You actually finished ahead of time, which is great. Is Philippe around, please? You'll be up third. Okay, fine. Just making sure you're here. You'll be up after Alexandra.
Hi everyone, I'm Alexandra. It's the first time I have a microphone on my head, so this 5 minutes are probably going to be the most stressful ones of my life. I just wanted to tell you about a really nice open source website that we probably will appreciate a lot, which is called Tatoeba. Does anybody know it already? Yeah, some people. So I'm not trying to sell anything. It's an open source project. I'm just volunteering for it. It's basically a huge database of sentences that is translated into another languages by native speakers. So what I do basically, I translate sentences from English to Polish, which is my native language. And what is so great about it is that you can export them to Anki. So if you want to learn a new language, you can basically learn it through sentences. If you are, for example, learning a new word and you want to find the context of how it's used, you can just type it there and find all the sentences that are including it, so it's perfect. So I wanted to encourage you to do two things. First thing is, of course, to use it to learn your languages, and the second thing is basically to add your own sentences. It's enough to log in with your email, and then you can start contributing, and I think it's really worth it. What I do normally when I learn a new language, I search, for example, let's say I'm learning Turkish, so I search for the English sentences that are translated to Turkish but are not translated to Polish. So I can basically see the English word, English sentence, and then try to translate it to Turkish, then see the translation, correct myself, and then just take those 10 seconds to add the Polish translation. So I really encourage you to do that. Okay, thanks a lot.
This is great. People finishing ahead of time, which means we may even get through everyone. Philippe is up next. Just before that, is Michael here? Michael is here, brilliant. Okay, so you're up after Philippe. Philippe?
Merci. Un stylo, ein Stift. So, es ist ziemlich spontan. Ich werde hauptsächlich Deutsch reden, aber was ich erkläre, hat mit Arabisch zu tun, weil es ist eine Sprache, was alle erschreckt, wegen der Schrift. Und jetzt werden wir eigentlich ein paar Buchstaben ganz schnell lernen und wir kennen eigentlich was Einfaches, Smiley. Jetzt, ich möchte, dass ihr alle euch ein bisschen bewegt. Bitte Finger auf der Nase. So, was ist ihr? Nase, Nose, le nez. Wenn ich einen Punkt hier mache, haben wir ein N. Ja, das ist relativ einfach zum Lernen. So, jetzt gehen wir ein ganz klein bisschen tiefer als die Nase. Wir haben 2 Löcher hier. Alle so. Aber wir machen eigentlich, wo die Zähne sind, haben wir die 2 vorderen Zähne, die Zunge direkt da hinten. T. 2 Punkt. T. Das heißt, wir haben schon 2 Buchstaben gelernt. Jetzt, ich nehme ein zweites Blatt, Entschuldigung, erstmal. Aber ich habe immer noch ein Smiley. Jetzt gehen wir ein bisschen tiefer. Wenn ich den Mund aufmachen würde und dass die Kamera reingucken würde, würde man wahrscheinlich sowas sehen, ja? Bon. Dann machen wir das hier unten, ja? Wenn 2 Punkte hier sind, in die Breite schießt I. Das heißt, man kann es so oder so schreiben, das ist ein I. Ne, te, I. Das heißt, man spricht es unten. Jetzt, wir gehen noch ein bisschen tiefer. Basic, Busch, ja, noch ein Punkt, ganz unten. Und jetzt bitte ihr den Finger hier in den Bereich. Und ihr spricht alle ein B. B. Ihr merkt, dass es in dem Bereich gesprochen wird. Das ist ziemlich breit, ja, in diesem Bereich. Das heißt, jetzt haben wir schon 4 Buchstaben gelernt. Ne, T, I, B. Das heißt, was ich jetzt erkläre, finden Sie in keinem Buch. Aber ich habe für mich entdeckt, dass die arabische Schrift eigentlich wahrscheinlich nicht religiös ist, aber von Wissenschaftlern, das heißt von Linguisten erfunden wurde, die ihnen mit dieser Schrift Informationen über wo die Buchstaben gesprochen werden. Und jetzt, Sie sehen, hier, es ist virtuelle Mitte, das heißt er, das heißt, wo ihr Mund ist, eigentlich ist die Mitte. Jetzt versuchen Sie, wir werden Alif jetzt. Das Alif ist ein Buchstabe, der so ist, wenn sie ganz allein ist. Man kann sie mit dem Vorderbuchstabe verbinden, das wäre so. Nach hinten wird sie nicht verbunden. Aber das ist nur ein Strich normalerweise. Das ist Alif. Auf Hindi, das A ist auch nur ein Strich, aber unter dieser Linie. Jetzt werden wir versuchen, Ihr Mund ist da, und ich sage so, versuchen Sie ein A auszusprechen, aber indem Sie den Kiefer nach unten. A. Das ist ziemlich tief. Wenn Sie aber den Kopf nach hinten, A, man hört was ganz anderes. Das heißt, dass alle, und Sie können erstmal beobachten, wenn Sie sich mit mehr Buchstaben aus dem Arabisch beschäftigen, dass alle Buchstaben, die über die Linie gehen, werden nach oben gesprochen. Das K, das L, das D, ein bisschen geöffnet. Alle diese Buchstaben werden nach oben geschrieben. Wenn Sie aber eine Buchstabe haben, die wieder unten, das ist hier eine O. Und wenn Sie O aussprechen, merken Sie, dass Sie es wieder in diesem Bereich sprechen. Wie viele Minuten habe ich?
30 Sekunden.
Okay, 30 Sekunden. So, ich werde nicht alle Buchstaben zeichnen, weil es sind trotzdem über 20, ja. Aber Sie merken, das ist der Trick, wenn Sie sich mit einer Sprache beschäftigen, lassen Sie sich erstmal nicht erschrecken von dieser fremden Schrift, weil eigentlich, wenn Sie auch unsere Buchstaben lernen, das C in Latein wissen Sie nicht, wie man es ausspricht. Das kann ein K, ein S, ein Ch sein. Deshalb lernen Sie, was Ihnen hilft. Da haben wir vielleicht nur 4 oder 5 Buchstaben gelernt. N, T, I, B, A. Und das U. Das ist schon 6, das ist schon ein Anfang. Aber in 5 Minuten Arabisch lernen, das wäre ein bisschen schwierig.
Awesome, so thank you, Michael. And is Benson around, please? Benson here, thank you. You'll be up afterwards. Awesome, thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael. I want to ask you the question, language, only a matter of culture, not of biology. And I give you 2 examples where the language borders were artificially made by man. The first example is in the north of Italy, in South Tyrol or Alto Adige. There's a valley called Valle Venosta, and beyond there's a Trentino. And until the 16th century, all this area was spoken Latin, Alpine Romanic language. And in the 17th century, Austrians introduced the school system. In Trentino, official school language and church language was Italian, and in the Valle Venosta and the north part was German, and exactly this border is now the language border. And another example is the Italian-Slovene border. The Slovene in former times went much more in Lower Italy than it is now, but then the Venetians introduced the official school language and church language, but some villages in the mountains had the privilege to use Slovene further on, and these places are called now Slavia Friulana. And these are only 2 examples where the language border, even of different language families, was artificially made. And I finish here and give you time for some of your opinions. Any comments? Okay, if no comments, the next one please.
Thank you, Michael. So next up we have Benson. Is Simon around? Thank you. You'll be up afterwards. Thank you, Benson.
So apparently storytelling is a very good technique to present, so this is what I'm going to practice. So I will share just 2 stories. So a few months ago, I went to a dentist. It is the first time in my life the dentist complimented that I was actually brushing my teeth fairly well, much better than other patients. And obviously we are in a language learning conference, so that has actually got something to do with language learning. Can anyone guess how language learning has helped me have better quality of teeth?
You have a list of words on your mirror while you're brushing your teeth.
Not quite. Any other creative answers? Creative guesses?
You had a chat with 2 minutes to hear a lesson, and you have the time 2 minutes to
Yeah. Something quite similar to that. Actually, so any other?
Oh, I just was wondering if you didn't want to have bad breath when you're speaking. Spend the time when you talk to them.
Well, actually, most people do not brush the teeth enough time, of a long enough time. They just kind of like less than 30 seconds is not acceptable. Less than 1 minute is not good. It should be around 2 minutes. So what I have been doing for the last year or so is to actually put on a podcast to listen to the news in whatever language that I am practicing. So for the last few months, I have been listening to news in Japanese and Spanish, and then 2 minutes is about 2 or 3 stories, and I can, because they are quite repetitive. So I also got to learn a lot of vocabularies, and then so I improved my foreign language skill, and then I also maybe this will be with me for 10 or 20 more years. I seriously encourage you to try it as a small experiment. So story. Okay. So story number 2. Once upon a time, there was an Italian, and then this Italian wanted to complete his PhD. Some of you may know the story, but there is something unexpected, possibly. Okay. So he found out that he couldn't concentrate on writing his PhD. He got distracted by many things, and then nowadays would be distracted by Facebook, by tweets, by phone calls, by text, by many things. So what he did was that he had kitchen timer in the shape of a tomato, and then he then set the timer for 25 minutes, and then he worked uninterrupted for 25 minutes, and then that has been very successful, and then he completed his PhD on time, and then it was all good, and then now he wrote about this technique. He calls it the Pomodoro technique. So Pomodoro, so just a random aside, does anyone know the etymology of Pomodoro? It's quite simple. Exactly, so Pomodoro, so it's pomum in Latin and autumn. And then, so obviously we are in a language learning conference, so I also strongly encourage you to try it. So it doesn't actually have to be 25 minutes, it can be for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. So yeah, I strongly encourage you to, how many of you actually uses the Pomodoro technique? Good. So for those of you who doesn't know it, so just Google Pomodoro technique, and this is something that a lot of you may not know. So when I start my Pomodoro, and then I still get distracted because no one else is around. So then maybe I still check my text, I still look at my Facebook, so that defeats the whole point of Pomodoro. So obviously social proof is quite cool. And then so what I did was, it wasn't that consistent, but sometimes I actually had Skype Pomodoro session with some friends. And then when I can, even more rare is to actually just meet up with certain friends who work on various projects and did the Pomodoro together. And obviously with the world of internet, I recently discovered a site called Complice, I'll write there at the end, and it has got a feature which is a virtual study room. So it's a Pomodoro study room, a group chat, like from 10 years ago. And then something quite cool is that you can actually put on your webcam, but then there is no voice chat. And then during the Pomodoro break, you actually chat to other people. So actually, that feature is optional. You don't have to use that one. But then yes, just using this website for the last 2-3 months has made me much more productive in terms of my language learning and my other side projects. So I strongly encourage all of you to try it.
Please write it.
Okay, whilst that's being written, thank you, Benson. Simon is coming up. Yes, good, thank you. And so this name I can't read. Is that Vertel? Würfel, thank you. Brilliant. Okay, you'll be up afterwards. Simon.
Hey allihopa, hey everybody. Simon, I was supposed to be here last year, I couldn't come, so I'm here now for the first time. I'll take you to I'll take you through my language learning process, and then I'll give you my solution. Så jag kommer från Sverige, uppvuxen där, gått största delen av min skola där. Luego hice un intercambio en Valencia, en España, y mi familia española no hablaban inglés, entonces yo tenía que aprenderlo.然后5年后我去了台湾，在台湾有很多人不会讲英文，所以我学习了在路上。我在I went back to Sweden for a while. I went to India. लेकिन मेरे हिंदी सिर्फ थोड़ा मैं पुणे में पुणे सीख रहा English. And on the street they speak Marathi, which is also related to Hindi, but it's not the same. Anyways, I managed to learn a bit. Next step was Indonesia. Saya kerja di kedutaan besar Swedia di Jakarta 5 bulan. Dan saya bisa berbicara dengan orang-orang di jalan. Okay, fine. I speak. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, ich parle français un petit peu, but that's not my point. My point is that I always manage to reach the level where I can communicate on basic level with people. And everybody has a different need when they study a language. And a lot of the current material, they're following a certain step, and you want to reach an endpoint somewhere. But what I was thinking about is more focusing on what you actually need. If you only want to be able to communicate at some level with people, and maybe not grammatically correct even, which not necessarily necessary, then you can. Then me and a friend managed to come up with an idea with combining two tools. Everybody knows about spaced repetition of vocabulary, Anki and Cram and so on. And then we have integrated that with the technology that you can maybe take a picture of a text in a language you don't understand, and just click on it and get it translated inside this Leitner system. And I think it's gonna help a lot of people. It's totally free. It's called Minas. I'll write it for you guys. Any questions? Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you, Simon. Here we have Würfel, and before we start, is Dimitri around? Yep, awesome, thank you. You'll be afterwards.
Saluton, mi nomiĝas Tomaso. hodiaŭ mi parolas en Esperanto. Estas pri la lingvoj de la unuiĝinta reĝlando. Kiom da lingvoj oni parolas aŭtoktone en la unuiĝinta reĝlando? Kiom vi pensas? 10? Ja, estas bone. Do ni havas la germanaj lingvoj, kompreneble la angla estas ankaŭ la plej granda kaj ankaŭ ofte oficiale uzata lingvo, kaj ni havas la romaa, kiu havas du dialektojn, la angla dialekto kaj la skota dialekto. Estas la skota, do tio estas la germana lingvo kiu estas parolata en la sudo de Skotio, kaj ni havas la keltaj lingvoj, do estas la kimra, estas la pli granda, kompreneble en Kimrio, ankaŭ estas la Cornvala en Cornvalo, kaj la skota gaela en Skotio, la irlanda kaj la Manxa, so la insulo Manxo. Do estas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and kompreneble la brita gestolingvo. Do eble ekzistas aliaj malgrandaj, ni eble forgesis nun la ŝelta. La ŝelta estas la lingvo de la irlandaj voĉanto. Tie estas grupo kiu mite kiel la romanoj havis vojaĝantan vivmanieron, ke eble estis nur mito aŭ devige, ĉar oni ne akceptis ilin daŭre en iu loko. Sed tio estas ankaŭ kelta lingvo, kaj ili ne estas romaoj, sed la mite mita aldonata vivmaniero estas la sama. Do oni ofte pensas nur pri la angla, sed estas lando kun multaj lingvoj.
Excellent, dankon. And Dimitri, before we start, is Bonnie around? Bonnie Jin? Thank you, you'll be afterwards. So Dimitri.
How many of you are interested in cultural differences? How many of you have ever heard of CITA, the Society of Intercultural Education, Training and Research? I was at their conference in Valencia last year, and there was a dearth of polyglots. I think I was the only one at the conference. And there was a dearth of Russians as well. And there were many Dutch and many Germans. And they have this organization not only in Europe, but in other continents, other countries. They have in Europe every 2 years a continental seminar. The next one is next year in Dublin. And on a national level, where they have enough members, they also have conferences on a national level. And then they regularly have meetings and webinars. So it is trying to get, it's an organization that wants to have dialogues on intercultural themes and understandings. And dealing with things such as the refugee crisis, dealing with polemic situations, difficult situations, immigrants and others. So Any time also when people are moving to another country for work and so on, different themes to make that person successful in their new work environment, in their new country. So I hope next year in Dublin when I'm at the conference, I see some polyglots there, you could put up a talk and be one of the presenters. They have, similar to here, 3 different talks at a time, and sometimes 4. And oftentimes it works with film as well, so sometimes there's the multimedia side, so 4 things that can be happening at a time. Any questions?
Brilliant. Thank you. With lightning talks, there isn't really time. Okay. So thank you, Dimitris. We have Bonnie now. Just whilst we're waiting, is Marlon around? Thank you. You'll be afterwards. Lovely.
大家好，我的名字是金佳音。でも私のアメリカの名前は Bonnie Jin です。Jin Bonnie です。Aber ich wohne gerade jetzt in Deutschland und ich wollte heute sprechen über Chinese and how you can learn Chinese not through pinyin, but another system called Zhuyin. So, how many of you are interested in learning Chinese, especially after this conference? Okay, cool. How many of you guys have heard of pinyin? Okay, cool. But how many of you guys have heard of Zhuyin? Okay, also really cool. Okay, so I wrote everything down because I'm kind of freaking out. Okay, so Zhuyin, or more colloquially, BPMF, is a system for writing Chinese but phonetically. So think of like an alphabet system. It has 37 characters in total, and it includes all the 4 tone marks, and it transcribes all the possible sounds in Mandarin. Just using 37 characters. And what I also find really cool about this system is that you can not only transcribe Mandarin characters, but essentially with a couple more consonants, essentially all dialects in the Chinese country. A bit of history. Zhuyin was first introduced in China by the Republican government during the 1910s and was used along the Wade-Giles system, which used a modified Latin alphabet and later became the pinyin system that we use today. As many refugees from China went to Taiwan, in Taiwan they managed to preserve the original Zhuyin system. And what Zhuyin essentially is how many of you are familiar with hiragana and katakana? Okay, cool. It's essentially much like hiragana and katakana. It looks pretty much the same, some of the letters do. And you can essentially, it's what's called ruby character, so I'll demonstrate. So for example, the word for you, ni, is this. That's the character for you, ni. And you would write na, the consonant, i, the vowel, and then ni, the tone. And this would indicate na, i, ni, and you can read this. And in Taiwan, for example, throughout elementary school, this is used to teach children how to read Chinese, because obviously when you need to learn at least 1,000 words, 2,000 words in order to effectively communicate in a single language, it's obviously hard for children who are just starting out to start learning a language immediately using a character or symbol system. And so in Taiwan, for example, they teach using an alphabet system to begin with, so that children who are able to have more access to more interesting books and interesting literature are able to read almost immediately, because of course they understand the language, and with an alphabet system, they're then able to understand what exactly they're being read about. And I just want to share this because I feel like a huge drawback of using the pinyin system is that as Westerners, or I believe most people who begin this using pinyin are from a Western perspective, we are naturally drawn to reading the Western characters, the Latin alphabet, because we are so used to reading the Latin alphabet. And that completely takes away from reading Chinese and really sticking with the characters. And also a huge drawback is that a lot of us fall back into our native tongues when we look at the Latin characters and think about, oh, what could that be with an English accent or a French accent or something like that. And I feel like if you were to learn Chinese using Zhuyin in this system, which is of course based off Chinese radicals and Chinese symbols, you're able to almost immediately learn characters and especially how you write, because the way that you write the alphabet, for example, the stroke system, is the exact same way as you would with normal characters in Chinese. And also it helps you remove yourself from the Latin alphabet, which then helps you stick with the characters and remain thinking in Chinese for the entire time. So thank you.
So So thank you, Bonnie Jin. Marlon is next, and is Chesko in here? I can't see him. No, okay. So in which case, Miroslav. Yes, Miro. Okay, you'll be afterwards then. So first up, Marlon.
Boa tarde, eu sou Marlon, eu sou do Brasil, moro na Polônia. So hello, good afternoon. My name is Marlon. I come from Brazil, but I've been living in Poland with my wife, who is originally from Hungary. And I'm here today to tell you some of our Brazilian gestures. It's very important when you speak Portuguese to know some of our gestures, which have some messages, which may mean some whole sentences. I'm not just talking about using your hands to talk, like we may do this in Brazil. And I'm going to show you some gestures. I don't know how many. I know I have 5 minutes, so I'm going I'll try to show as many as possible. You may laugh if it's funny. There's no problem. I'm not going to be offended because some of them are really funny. And if you want to don't have much time, but after if we can talk, you can share me if in your country, in your language, the same gesture may mean something completely different. Yeah. So the first one is this. Do you get it? Easy. Huh? Easy. It means I don't know. I don't have the slightest idea. And you can add also your head. Yes. And a second possible translation is I don't care about it. Yeah, someone is doing something. Oh, you're not going to shout at your son because I don't know he has taken your wallet. Okay, it's a joke, yeah? You're going to say something. What you can say? Okay. Thank you. I need to use it. Because I'll have to use the hands to show the gestures. So the second one, I think this may be difficult. My wife even told me that we can do it because I think we have been learning from childhood because it doesn't hurt anymore. You can try it. It hurts a little bit, but it's like this. With sound, yes. That has many meanings, yeah? Bad meanings and good meanings. The first one, it means that it's like, great, yeah? Great. You've done something good, you've arranged a meeting with someone, and you say, and you can just do like this, like, great, like you did it, yeah? The second one, if you repeat this, like, if you do it repeatedly, it means hot, like you eat a food or you drink something, and it's hot, it burns your mouth, so you can't speak, but you can show it like this. Yes, everyone's going to understand. Yes, someone are going to come to help you. So it's going to come to help you. Okay. The third possible meaning of this one here. Yeah, if you are, for example, you have a younger brother, or maybe an older brother, but usually if you have a younger brother and the younger brother has done something wrong, yes, and your mother and your father sees, and then so they punish him or her, yes, or younger brother or sister, and then you go to your younger brother and sister and you show like this, like, oh, well done, you deserve something like this, yes. Not only to the brother and the sister, yes, if you mean.
You live in Poland, right?
Yes.
Do you know what it means in Polish?
I don't know, and no Polish has told it to me.
Don't show it to a Polish guy.
I don't use it in Poland at all, actually. Yeah.
But it means fuck off.
Thank you. I didn't know it. I have been there for 4 years and no one, told me that. But I don't use it there.
So if you eat something spicy and do like that.
Simply talk about identity. So I try to act like Poles, yeah? People usually don't use that, yes? No, pardon, but people usually are going to say, fuck off, yes? Poland. Okay, so the next gesture, that one actually I don't use it, but Jimmy Melo comes also from Brazil, and he told me this one. It was new for me because I use another one, this one here. It means it's delicious. You eat something and you make add the sound. So delicious. Yes? If something is delicious, actually, I use this one here. But I combine this with And some people use it. Yes. Okay, so what else? Other one that's very very typical in Brazil. If someone does if someone does this, or with the other hand, do you understand it? What's the meaning?
Go away.
Yes, yes. So that's obvious. Go away. Right? Or it maybe you're strong like this. Go away. Yes. Okay. Okay. So it's finished. So thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, so thank you.
So thank you, Marlon. Here we have Miro, and next up is Christopher here. Thank you. You'll be afterwards. Lovely.
Hi, I have several questions for you. How many of you are creating podcasts? 1, 2, 3? 3. Okay, I think there are some other people at the conference who are creating great podcasts. How many of you are publishing on YouTube? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so similar number. 5. How many of you are listening to podcasts? About half, maybe more. And how many of you are regularly watching YouTube videos? A little bit less. Okay. Actually, if I compare YouTube videos and podcasts, mostly if it is an interview or someone just staying like me here and talking, I would prefer podcast. Because with YouTube, I can sit in front of my computer, I can watch it on my cell phone, but as soon as I want just to listen to this talk or to this interview, and I switch off the screen and I put it in my pocket just to listen through the earphones, it switches off. That's why I would like to encourage all the great YouTube publishers to think of a parallel podcast version. And you as an avid YouTube watchers or podcast listeners also to tell it to your stars, to the people who you are following, who are publishing YouTube videos where there is not much to see, except if these are young ladies who are also who are speaking about language. So to publish a podcast version of their videos as well. So that's all. Download audio is a podcast and with RSS it doesn't work for a normal podcast application. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. If you have an iPhone, I can show you how to use YouTube when it's closed. Okay, never mind. So yesterday I gave a lightning talk about minimalism and doing what you can with the very smallest amount of vocabulary and work. Basically, you want to be lazy and still learn and use languages. And ironically, I ran out of time on a talk about minimalism. So this is going to be like minimalism part 2, with a nice 2 there, like that. Okay. So I talked yesterday about how you can. There's plenty of ideas going back like 200 years about using a bare minimum vocabulary list to talk about anything. So no matter how complex the idea is that you want to communicate, you can still use simple words to kind of talk around it or define it, and it's a skill that some of these really good polyglots can use in their conversations to keep the fluency going, because maybe you don't know the word for microwave oven in the language and you get to the word, you want to say microwave or whatever, and you don't have to halt. You can kind of continue talking and go around it in a circle and they understand what you're saying. So, there was a guy named Gabriel Weiner, I believe, who wrote a book called Fluent Forever. And in this book, he wrote about this list of 750 words, which he called a base vocabulary list for any language. So the idea is not that it's the words themselves, but the concepts in this list. So if you're learning a new language, he's saying or suggesting you can learn the words for these concepts in the language, and you can find yourself talking about anything that you need to talk about. So I'm a big fan of this because I really like Tokipona, which is that made-up language that nobody speaks, that has only 123 of these base concepts that you can rearrange and use. And I actually had experiences using it. When I was a teacher in China, I had the privilege of working with kids from 5 to 15 who didn't want to be there. And they would always ask me, oh, teacher, what does innocent mean? Something like this. And I can't speak Chinese in class because I'd get fired. So I had to describe with words they already knew, simpler words, this higher level kind of concept. And so in order to do it easier and make sure they understand what innocent means, I would think what it would be in Tokipona first, and then translate the Tokipona sentence describing innocent to them, and they would always understand what I was saying. So it's kind of like defining the word with simpler words, which is what you'd have to do for a microwave oven or anything else complex. So the point is, I have this idea that I've been working on for like a year of coming at a new language that you don't know at all, and only learning maybe this list from Gabriel, or maybe learning only the Tokipona concepts, or coming up with your own, depending on what you want to use it for. And seeing with native speakers that don't know what you're doing, how well you can communicate with them. So we take it to the logical conclusion, if we're learning a language just to communicate with someone, then maybe you don't need any more words than is necessary to communicate with them. So instead of learning 20,000 words in one language, you could learn 750 times, do the math, I'm not a mathematician, but you could be more versatile that way. There's two problems I see with this idea I've had, and I want to tell you what they are. It's because two things can happen. One of them is, you have this very bare minimum vocab set, but in order to talk in circles, you need to know the grammar really, really well in order to say, it's a kind of man who does this thing. You know, you need to have clauses and the ability to do this properly, which you probably have good vocabulary by the time you get that skill anyways. So it's kind of like you have to know the grammar really, really well to use very simple vocabulary. It sort of defeats the purpose. Or on the other hand, the second problem would be, you can kind of do the Tarzan thing, where you're saying, this, it makes like paper, you know, like this. And that kind of defeats the purpose if you're trying to communicate also. So if anybody has any ideas about how to solve either of those, or you'd like to talk about using minimal effort to get the maximum out of your language learning goals, please come and talk to me. I'd be happy to talk to you. Thanks.
So you'll notice that I didn't announce the name of the next person. That's because we've reached the end of the list. We've finished on time with time to spare. Oh, we have a question at the back.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. You mentioned Tokipona, and if somebody would like to see how the language looks like, you can go to Tatueba, which I talked about, and there are a couple of hundred sentences in that language. So.
But I actually hear some people who speak Tokipona. I think I've seen written on some. Yeah.
So we have conveniently reached the end of the time. Dinner is in 10 minutes. So thank you to everybody for taking part, and thank you for those who are listening.